Coming up next, a movie chat, 2023's Jules. Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the Middle Country Public Library podcast. I'm Sal DiVincenzo, here in the studio with my fabulous colleagues, Sarah Faye and Nicole Rambo.
Hello.
How's everyone doing?
Good.
We haven't done a movie chat in a while.
No.
So now we're going to pull one out here for you. Full disclosure, I did use AI to choose this movie. I asked AI to pick 5 films that were rated very well on Internet Movie Database and Rotten Tomatoes, but did not do well commercially. Okay. And I also asked it to be approximately 90 minutes long.
Oh, thank you.
And to have some sort of fantasy or, sci-fi, angle to it.
Oh, okay.
So I added all that up, and it gave us a list of movies. And
Now that I know you did that,
now it makes sense, right? Because the list that I sent out to the team.
Yeah.
But we decided to go with Jules, which we're going to talk about now. But really quickly, Jules is a heartwarming sci-fi comedy drama directed by Mark Turteltaub, and follows Milton, a lonely elderly man in a small Pennsylvania town, it wasn't really Pennsylvania, whose quiet life is disrupted when a UFO crashes in his backyard, revealing a gentle, mute alien eventually named Jules. All right.
His alias.
Yes, his
Or
alias.
Gary.
His alias, yeah.
Or Gary,
Or
right.
Gary, yes.
Yeah.
As Milton bonds with the extraterrestrial, he enlists the help of 2 quirky neighbors, Sandy and Joyce, to protect Jules from government pursuit. The story explores themes of loneliness, friendship, and human connection, blending tender moments with light humor and a touch of the fantastical, right? It includes some veteran heavy hitter actors here. So we have Oscar winner Ben Kingsley as Milton, Tony Award winner Harriet Sansom Harris as Sandy. She'll always be Fraser Crane's agent. So I'll always follow her.
I was so familiar. I couldn't
Yes. And Emmy Award winner and former alien herself,
She's nailing it.
Jane Curtin as Joyce.
Yeah.
The cast is rounded out by a prolific stunt woman, an amazing Jade Kwan, who played the alien Jules, and stage actress Zoe Winters as Milton's daughter Denise. It was written by Gavin Steckler, who I really don't know much about. He doesn't really have that much there. And it was directed by Mark Turteltaub, who mostly produces, and he was the producer of Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh, I like that movie.
And Loving, which was another popular film about
the
interracial marriage there. And, so Loving, So that's a basic thing. Spoiler alert, we're going to spoil the film. So we're going to talk about it in detail. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, you can hit pause now, and you can instantly access it with your library card on Hoopla Digital. How about that? Yeah. It's also available here at the library in digital format, and if you just happen to have Paramount Plus with Showtime added on to it, because it is a show, it was on Showtime, you can watch it instantly as well, streaming. Okay, so that's basically it. So the overview of this film is it starts off very cleverly with Milton, played by Ben Kingsley. We're introduced to him, right? We see that he's an elderly gentleman. I think he's 74, right? Is that what she said?
Yeah.
Or 72 or something like that, which is really not that old. And that was very scary right off the bat. Yeah. So she was saying, you're getting on in age. Living alone, estranged from his son, but his daughter takes care of him. Doing some quirky kind of beginning of potential cognitive issues. She finds, things in the freezer that shouldn't be in the freezer, things in his medicine cabinet. He seems to have a very simple life, a routine. He watches TV and does the thing and whatnot. Kind of sad situation there. And he likes to go to the town board and say the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
So you kind of get the impression right off the bat that there is maybe something wrong with him.
Yeah.
And it's very clever, and it's a very good way to start this film, because up until maybe a half hour into this movie, I thought this is all in his head.
Oh, okay.
I thought that this whole thing was in his head. But then suddenly a spaceship crashes in his backyard, ruins his azaleas.
Oh, yeah.
And out comes Jules, which is later named Jules. This alien played rather amazingly by this, like I said, this stunt woman, Jade Kwan. And if you see a picture of her on Internet Movie Database, you know, she's this beautiful, tiny,
tiny,
short,
very
petite,
petite.
beautiful petite girl. And then now when you see, you know, her in the outfit, was I a little turned on? A little bit, maybe.
Well, that says a lot. Okay.
Okay, that does it for this week's episode. No. But she did a great job at that. So, alien crashes. He assists the alien. Alien loves to eat apples.
Apples.
Yeah.
And he's letting it out that this alien crashed, and obviously his daughter thinks this is it.
Yeah.
This is like the initial sign of the thing. And his fellow quirky neighbors, as we mentioned before, who also go to the town board meeting and ask for kind of interesting things.
Yeah.
They get involved in the whole thing. So you have the three of them, the two ladies and Milton, are basically trying to help this alien, who obviously his spaceship is broken, and there's obviously the government knows about it somehow. They know about it. They've been tracking it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of alluded to throughout the film. They keep bringing it up in the news, you know, a piece of a satellite has crashed in Western Pennsylvania. And then it was like, a government satellite has crashed. It kind of keeps escalating. And then from time to time, they'll cut to scenes where they're listening in
on phone calls.
So you kind of get the impression that there's, some sort of investigation going on. They know that an alien has crashed in this area here. And the story is basically them harboring this alien. Is it an illegal alien? No, it's an actual alien. That's a regular joke.
It's
funny.
Harboring this alien and trying to figure out what's happening, how they can help it.
Yeah.
And then it goes like kind of like wackadoodle crazy, but still funny. It's like obscenely weird that evidently the only way this alien's trying to tell them something, he keeps drawing these pictures of like a cat's head. Yeah. The only way for the alien to fix his spaceship is he needs dead cats.
Yeah.
And if they're not dead, he'll kill them.
And if they're not dead, he will kill them.
In a humane way.
In a humane way,
very sweet. Because we know that the alien, at one other point, we know the alien has powers of killing other things in a non-humane
remotely.
way.
Why don't you tell that story? So it's, who was it? It was Sandy. Sandy,
yeah. She's like... on the theme between Milton and Sandy, at least, Joyce doesn't have children, but Milton and Sandy are both like kind of estranged from their children. And it's very sad. I cried because I cry all the time.
This was an emotional film.
Yeah, I cried constantly, and I cried now too.
But he's not estranged from his daughter.
No, he's close to his daughter, but he's not that close to his son at all. But it seems like Sandy is looking for a connection with like a younger person to like help guide. And that's one of the things she talks about at the community board meeting, that she's starting this program about like older people getting together with younger people to like teach each other things, right? And so she gets a phone call of a person who's saying that they're like a younger person in their 20s. They found the flyer, and it's something that they're interested. They could use advice and stuff like that. So she invites him over. Obviously, you're like, don't do that, Sandy. But she's like a very sweet, like warm-hearted person. And so you're like, ugh. And then he comes in, they start talking, and he asks to use the bathroom. He goes upstairs, and then just let him take what he's going to take, Sandy. But she does go upstairs and tries to stop him. He is like stealing her jewelry at that point. And she says, I'm going to call the cops. And she runs down the stairs. He obviously is younger. He is attacking her. He's like strangling her. And at the same time, Jules and Milton are listening to Joyce sing her rendition of like Freebird.
Exactly.
And
there's a juxtaposition there that's kind of weird.
And but I guess because of the connection that Jules has formed with these three, he can like sense that Sandy is in trouble, and so you see what's happening through like Jules's vision.
Yes, yeah.
And then all of a sudden Jules's like face kind of turns dark. Like, so it's normally like this bluish gray hue, and then all of a sudden like turns really dark, but you don't know what's happening. Like Joyce is still singing her Free Bird, and then the eyes and face are just dark on the alien, and then
it
it's
cuts
like over. Yeah, and then
cuts to the next scene like abruptly.
But you don't know, like, but because it's like happening, you're like, does this mean that Sandy's dying? Like, what does this like mean? I thought Sandy was dying. I thought she was gonna die, and obviously she doesn't. But then then it comes to the next scene of Sandy sitting at her kitchen table with the two cops, and the cops are like, well, how does the head explode?
Yeah, she's like all filled with blood and everything like that.
And they're like, heads just don't explode, Sandy. And she's like, I don't know. And then she like figures out like what, like, as she kind of puts it together, and then she goes and like thanks Jules. But yeah, so we know that that's like a way that Jules can like like powers, and they have talked like when they get together, the three of them, they say like, oh, we've seen in the movies, like they allude to like aliens, what they can do like between like movies and stuff. So that's the first time we see it having any kind of like power.
Yeah,
and it was sweet because Sandy didn't die, and I was like, please don't die.
There's a lot of Easter eggs in this film, like the whole. There's an allusion to E.T. where he's like at the beginning he keeps saying our town motto is a place to call home, but it really doesn't make sense. It should be a place where where it could be the home. So it's like E.T. calls home, that kind of thing. Obviously, Jane Curtin was an alien in Coneheads, so she kind of acts kind of loopy a little bit. The cats, if anybody is a fan of Alf, like I was when I was a kid, but
like Alf.
Alf liked to eat the cats. That was the thing.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So there's a couple of things in there that were kind of funny. So anyway, we find out the whole cat thing. They figure it out. So the story moves, and as the story is moving, we are learning something about each of the characters, deep things about each of the characters, because they're talking to Jules, and Jules doesn't talk throughout the entire film. Yeah. And he just kind of listens, and you're learning about, the fact that, Milton maybe was a little difficult with his son. We learn about Sandy and her daughter, and that situation. We learn about Joyce and like her quirkiness and that kind of thing, and that I guess she really wanted to be a city girl, but instead she was out in the country. So you learn all this stuff about these characters with them just monologuing basically with the alien, and it's a great tool for the director and the writer to bring this stuff out without being very obvious about it. Right. So that really worked out well. Yeah. And so as this is progressing, we learn more about these characters, and finally they're able to gather up some cats that have, some roadkill cats, and then the last cat, I won't give that away, but the last cat is somehow, they find the last cat, they do the thing with the last cat, and then Jules is able to fix his, the cats become this jewel, like a quartz thing. Yeah. And it's energy, basically. So it puts it in the spaceship, and the spaceship gets ready to leave. But right about this time now, the government has finally found where Jules and Milton live. So they're about to break in. So Jules offers to take them somewhere. Yeah. So they think they're going to space. But they don't. It's just a means of getting them away. But before that, Milton was going to go with Jules. Yeah. Right before getting a telephone call from his daughter, who basically says, look, I don't want to talk about the fact that you're having cognitive issues. I don't want to talk about that. I just want to spend time with you. I just want to, and I don't want to argue. Let's, you got to get your hair cut and blah, blah, blah. And he realizes, what, he does want to stay. So, so Jules brings them to the desert. They think they're on it's like looks like a foreign planet, but they're like, no, I have 4 bars and I just got a text message. So
and there was like litter.
There's litter everywhere. So finally, Jules is able to leave, and they don't know if they'll ever see Jules again. But at the very end, Milton's watching TV, and some strange lights happen outside, and they happen to go from top to bottom, not across. So you kind of get the impression that Jules is back and visits with Milton. So that's the story in a nutshell. It is really not about the alien at the end of the day. I think it's about growing old. It's about taking responsibility for yourself and coming to grips with you're gonna slow down a little bit. You might have cognitive issues, but we should take advantage of the times that we can pay attention, and we are here, and we are lucid, and we can spend time with our families and kind of grow with them. And also, that doesn't necessarily, doesn't have to be a scary thing either. Because it might have seemed scary at the beginning of this film, but at the end, it was just kind of like a little quirky thing that they kind of like grew into. Yeah. So, and
like Sandy's husband went through it. That was like another kind of thing. And even she says, don't go down like that rabbit hole, because now he's like concerned because it was like the same, he's exhibiting the same
he knew it was happening
that her husband had, and she's like, it was such a long time from when we found out. She's like, don't let that so I think that helped too.
It wasn't a long time for him though.
For who?
For Milton. Yeah, it was well, no. Well, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a long time until he gets to where it was
really bad.
Well, it seemed like it was really bad for him at the end.
No, I don't. Well, no, I think that was a point of the director, because you mean
he was in assisted living and zoning out.
No, that was his house.
No, it was his house.
That was his house.
I don't think that was his house.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was his house. He was still sitting on the couch on his house.
That wasn't his couch.
Yeah,
that was a bedroom.
All right. Well, maybe it was his bedroom. The impression that I got was that he was not in assisted living.
That's the impression I got.
That's good. We got to watch it again.
Yeah. I thought he was home still.
Watch it and tell us in the comments below if that's what you think. But anyway, I enjoyed the film. What did you all think about the film?
No, I liked it. It was funny. It was good.
Yeah. It was not like it was.
It was a heartwarming
comedy. Yeah, it wasn't like ha funny. It was kind of like it was almost like Little Miss Sunshine kind of type of like quirky comedy.
Yeah,
like real world situations that you laugh at, not because they're necessarily funny, because they're like you can relate to it. And you're like, he put the can of peas in the medicine cabinet, and the whole scene with the cat at the end, where like put the bowl over its head because they didn't know what was going to happen. So so you liked it, very good. And Nicole?
No, I liked it. It was good. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it was.
It was like slow. It was only 90 minutes, an hour and 27 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was like evenly paced. Like nothing ever like really got anywhere.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Which was fine. It made sense for the story. And it was.
I think you have to be okay with. I don't want to call this a slow burn because it was so short.
Yeah. No.
But you have to be okay with going into a film that's kind of a quietly.
Yeah. It's quiet.
Quietly portraying everything, and it's very deliberate, and you have to be open to that slow, deliberate means of getting from point A to B.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not in your face by any stretch of the imagination. No. Even like the alien scenes, even the scenes when the government is coming. Yeah. You know the government's not going to be able, like when these agents are like banging down the wall, they're not going to catch anybody. You can tell. There was never
That's why I was nervous with that Sandy scene, because I was like, she shouldn't, like, as the movie has done so far, this woman should not die. And I'm like, if they kill her, then it's going to take a hard left turn, and like that's and so yeah.
That was actually the one part that I think, there's a little bit of suspense that you're like, okay, which direction is this really going to go? Yeah. Because like I said, after the first 30 minutes, you realize, okay, this guy's not hallucinating. Right. These are actually, there are other people involved with this, and the government is going after them. Yeah. Interestingly enough, just a little heads up, I think this film, as far as age group, probably mid to late teen is probably okay. But for a PG-13 film, it actually has 3 F-bombs in this movie.
Did it?
It did.
I know one.
There was one right at the beginning, and then there were 2 other ones. One with the cop.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then towards the end, there was one towards the end. So yes, which is very strange because in the past it's usually been one F-bomb that doesn't relate to a certain thing that's happening. It has to be kind of like within a definition of the word, if you get my drift. But this was just, there were 3 of those for a PG-13 movie, and I think it was probably relaxed because this had a very independent film kind of feel.
Yes.
It probably was a limited release. I don't remember this ever being in the theater. I do remember them advertising it though, which is interesting. Because they thought, oh, Ben Kingsley, I love Ben Kingsley. Right. He's just like, especially when he does the American accent, it's always the same accent, but it's so good. And you see him, there's one scene that really got to me where he's shaving. He's like, you see him preparing to shave, and there's no dialogue at all. So he puts the shaving cream on, and he kind of looks at the mirror, and without saying a word, you could just see him break. And then he just wipes off the shaving cream, and he's like, okay, I'm done. Like, he never shaves. You could tell that there's an issue there. And that was just brilliant. And then, all the acting was just brilliant. And Jane Curtin and Harriet Sansom Harris, they're just all
great. It was good.
Yeah. So, all right, scale of 1 to 10. We always do this on the podcast. 10 obviously being the best. We'll go, Nicole, what would you give it?
9.
All right, very good.
9.
9, yes, 9 for me as well.
That's good.
It's a 9 all around.
Yeah.
So, highly recommend Jules.
I do like when Jules puts the fabric over all the cats. It looks like a piece of fabric from Joann's.
Yeah.
It looked like I mean, what it winds up doing is cool, but when she goes like that, I'm like, that looks like something I bought at Joann, like a yard. Like, they went at Joann's and can we get 2 yards of sparkly fabric?
Probably did.
Yeah, I know.
And one of the trivia items was that Jules's prosthetic and costuming was unique every time. So it wasn't like one thing that she was putting on and then taking off and putting the same thing on again. They had to have multiple. So every time,
that's where all their budget went.
It was like 4 hours, 5 hours worth of this thing. I mean, but if you look at Jade Kwan's Internet Movie Database, she does a lot of aliens and little creatures and
how tall is she?
She's short. She's really short.
I was like,
if you see a picture of her, yes, I mean, she's an adult. But if you see a picture of her next to the cast, there's a picture
gotta be like 4
on Internet Movie Database.
5.
Yes, I would definitely say that. Yes, but she got the movements down, and she really was great. Yeah. So, all right, so there you go. I highly recommend from the podcast team, Jules 2023, starring Ben Kingsley. Check it out today at Middle Country or at your local library. And thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode. If you want to listen to older episodes, listen to older movie chats, read our show notes, visit our website, mcplpodcast.com. If you watched on YouTube, we'd greatly appreciate a like, and we'd most definitely appreciate a subscribe. So thank you so much. For Sarah Fade and Nicole Rambo, I'm Sal DiVincenzo. See you on the next show.